What's up, my precious little pack, and welcome back to VEGA Conflict. A little mishap just happened, and some recordings aren't recording the way I'd like them to, so I have to do this again, but there will be no combat gameplay or anything like that. It'll just be me doing a quick review of the items and the fleets. I can't fight any of them, so I can't show them off because I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just going to leave it at that. But okay, right off the bat, Dynasty has begun. It is a real... Kixai, I'm at a loss of words. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm at a loss of words. The Blitz Reapers were added in. They're meant for high tier players, which in other words means coiners, so we don't have to worry about touching them. And it just means more unavoidable damage because they close in on you just that much faster. But enough about that, let's go right into it. And something else that I'd like to point out, the alien bounty hunt intel thing is broken. I hit 2 fleets, didn't get anything. Didn't get any personal score or anything to boost or anything like that. The prizes are the Berserker Cruisers, the Void Pulse Rays, and the upgrade credit. And at max, it'll actually be a pretty fun ship to play with. Possibly. I'd have to think about it. But right now, as it stands, the alien bounty for me is broken. It's actually not showing my standing. And before anyone says, well, I may not have hit anything, fleet's repairing. I've got my intel. My base is repairing because I just finished with the defense literally less than 15 minutes ago. So they've got a bug in the game that, not a surprise in a game made of bugs at this point. Let's ignore that last part. Right off the bat, I'm just going to talk about the Enforcer Battleship. Again, I still think it's ugly, but it's better than nothing. It's better than them just slapping a paint job on the Annihilator Battleship and saying, here you go, it's a new ship. At least they changed the model up and added something to it. Twin-Fire Beam. This is one that I talked about in the previous video that failed to be recorded. And this was actually one that I was interested in. The Twin-Fire Beam is for the Axis only, which is no surprise because everything is being made for Axis only. They're locking in so Xenos can't use it. It's a double-barrel beam weapon that fires the beam it fires them by alternating its concentrated blast. It's alternating them for sustained damage. It is alternating. Does that mean it is firing mostly constantly with a short delay between the beams? Well, I'll have to find out, and I'm going to go right for level 2 as I progress. Next up, Harmonic Beam, the beam capacitor. This one was actually pretty cool. Increases the range, reduces the charge point, but increases the harmonic warfare. As we all know from the video already, the harmonic warfare increases your ship damage. Your ships do more damage against ships, hulls specifically. They don't do more damage against modules, so it's only effective against other ships. But that's it for the new prices. Literally just 3 things, just new. That's it. Because, yeah, there's nothing else added. And I'm going to try and get the Harmonic Exophase Shield 1. I'm going to put it on a few of my cruisers. I'm going to test it out. I have an idea for it, but I have to get a few more Xeno cruisers before I can actually start equipping it to make it useful. As it stands by its base alone, it's not useful. It's one that I would just say ignore and just discard for the time being, but if you have the cruisers, the shielding and weaponry for the cruisers, use it. And something I'm going to do is I'm going to mix their firepower. I'm going to put pulse cannons and twin fire beams on my cruisers. And does anyone see the difference in range? That's why. I want 2 weapons firing at separate intervals on the same target. I want the target to die very, very quickly and very, very easily. And the thing is, the damage per second is higher on the pulse cannon than on the twin fire, but I suspect the twin fire will be doing damage more constantly than the pulse. just because it'll be alternating and firing at separate intervals. That in fact has the lower range, but it'll also be able to be increased in DPS just because beam capacitor reduces the charge time, effectively reducing the time it takes for it to reload and fire again. Next up, the Bombardment Torpedo. I didn't see a use in trying to get these during the one event where I was actually going through earning the stuff, where I got my cruiser, the thrusters, and the other stuff. But now I see a use for them. AoE damage when you're dealing with the aliens, because I noticed that a lot of the time they cluster up on each other and they get stuck on each other. AoE damage would be flawless in that moment because they're stuck on each other. But it would be inefficient against the Blitz Reapers. For anyone who has a chance to say anything else, it's because by the time it reaches the target, which it'll take about 2 seconds at maximum range, it'll most likely miss them. It will most likely miss them because they'll outmaneuver it. So it'll be effective in doing base targets. And what does that mean? It'll be effective against. It'll be effective on battleships for the range boost in the base targets. What that means is we can equip the level 2 Bombardment Torpedo on it, have them go sideways along the alien's outer edge, with Guardian cruisers right behind them, backing them up, keeping squadrons off of them, with the carrier right behind all of them, boosting their speed. And they're all in one squad, so they're all moving as one. But the battleships are doing the work, using long-range bombardment torpedoes because the buildings are always clustered up. And that's where the fun begins. And the general intel requirement for everything is, if you're already in Axis and Xeno Division, it doesn't seem that bad. But if you're not, you're going to be looking at it, and it may look impossible or very difficult because of the repair time you take. And yes, I'm referring to you people with Demon Core stuff still. For any of you who haven't stepped up into the next tier because you couldn't, for some reason, just any reason, well, you're at a disadvantage just because the aliens are ready to do heavy damage to your ships and you have no way to resist it. Because you don't have built-in innate armor resistance and stuff to the alien damage type. Same said with the plasma damage type, which is very, very long range, very, very high damage. You're going to take very high damage just to do a target just for a high payout, which isn't worth it. But with that said, I'm gonna try and get everything I can this time around. I'm gonna try and get all the blueprint items. I'm gonna get everything I can. I'm gonna start off by getting the battleship itself, Twin Fire Beam 2, the beam capacitor. Then I'm gonna scroll down here. I'm gonna try and get the Vindicator Cutter, the level 1 shield, and the level 2 pulse cannon for my cruisers. My cruisers are gonna be the mainstay of my fleet, so they need to be armed and ready all the time. But that all aside, I hope that you can all get everything you need and want from the Dynasty event, and you don't take too much repair time. But that's going to be it for this video. If you liked the video, feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe. And as always, it really helps. And, oh, one more thing. This is for any of you that play PvP, for any of you that already play with Tier 1 ships. Share your fittings below in the comments, or share a link to the VEGA ship calc with fittings that you've... Actually, no, you can't do that. Just in generally share your fittings below in the comments for lower levels to be able to have some PvP fun with Tier 1 ships. So find the best fitting that you like and share it with them to have some fun with too, because it's Tier 1 ships, except for you can equip anything you want on them. Anything. Anything you can fit on them. Go wild, guys. And as always, I'll see you later.